so I knew I wasn't doing good. I don't remember what I was saying. It just took one person to break the ice. It's a black lady with a Ford motor shirt on. She stood up suddenly. Fuck you, Dave Chappelle! I said, she said, I worked all week for this shit, and this show sucks. And in a weird act of racial harmony, a conservative white guy stood up and backed her up. Yeah!
You know, I bet I could do that.
The whole crowd band together and started chanting, "We want our money back."
Okay, it is time to make history.
This isn't coming to me like I thought it would.
You know, being a real comedian actually takes time. Unless you just rely on puns. God, those type of comedians are the worst. Every time I think of comedians that rely on puns, I think of Quips from Regular Show. For those who don't know who Quips is, he skips his cousin, who is by far one of the most annoying characters in the entire series. There are 2 episodes that feature him as the main character of the episode being Quips and Bachelor Party Zingo. Out of the 2 episodes, Quips, the episode that introduces him to Regular Show, is one of the most unenjoyable episodes of an otherwise great show. To really understand why Quips is one of my least favorite characters in Regular Show, we'll need to take a deeper look at, well, Quips. The episode, not the character. Well, actually we will need to analyze Quips the character, but first I'll need to talk about Quips the episode. God, I hate when shows name their episodes after characters. It makes shit like this way more complicated than it needs to be. The episode revolves around Quips and how he's an inspiring comedian who just got fired from a comedy club. So to cheer himself up, he decides to try to make everyone around him laugh at his jokes, when in reality they're only pissing people off. He realizes that no one likes his jokes when Skips finally snaps and tells him that he isn't funny. Just from hearing the description of this episode, you can already tell exactly what kind of episode this is. It's one of those episodes that is designed to use a character to annoy the main cast of the show, and because he's annoying them, it's funny for the viewers to watch. However, the biggest problem with these type of episodes are that it's extremely hard to make an annoying character that has never been in the show before likable in 10 or 11 minutes. 9 out of 10 times, the annoying character is so annoying that they annoy the viewers. The most popular example of this is everyone knows it's Bendy. The episode from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends that, like Quips, revolves around a new imaginary friend who is causing trouble, and his overall annoying character that even the creator of the show regrets creating. What I'm trying to say is that these type of episodes never work. The only exception I can think of off the top of my head is the episode Be a Fred, Be a Very Fred, from the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Why this episode works so well is because while Fred Burger is an annoying character for people in the show, he doesn't annoy the viewers. This is what I think Quips was trying to go for, but obviously it didn't work. So, why didn't it work? Well, for starters, Quips' gimmick is, to put it simply, pretty lackluster. Meaning that the fact that his whole shtick is using puns all the time doesn't have any substance to it and is, well, aggravating. The episode thinks that Quips is relatable because everyone at one point has annoyed someone without realizing it, but in reality, it makes Quips less relatable because of the extreme lengths he'll go to tell a joke. You would think that after being locked in a box by a galactic baby for making fun of him and people groaning every time he walks into a room, that he would learn not to make so many jokes. Now, this is bad in itself, but what makes this even worse is how the episode handles the situation. Right at the start of the episode, Skips is given the task to tell Quips to lay off making puns, which is fine and all. I mean, a lot of shows have used this gimmick in plots before, but what makes this especially painful is that right as Skips is about to tell Quips he needs to stop telling jokes, he tells Skips that he just got fired from his job and that their game night is going to help him get his confidence back, which makes Skips feel bad, causing him not to tell Quips to stop making so many puns. Now, there are a lot of cliches that I can't stand, but this one is probably my least favorite one of all time. You have no idea how many times I've seen the same cliche done over and over. I honestly can't think of a show that has used this cliche creatively. So the fact that this cliche is what lets Quips continue to make puns is not only pretty lazy, but also insulting. And the way that the episode handles Quips figuring out that he isn't funny is by far the most insulting moment of the whole episode. When Quips finds out that no one thinks he's funny, he has the audacity to say that he thought that everyone thought he was hilarious. Now, I'm assuming that this is supposed to be a joke, but it ended up making me die on the inside. Oh wait, I'm already dead on the inside. Okay, then it made me hate Quips even more than I already did previously. Also, something else I wanted to briefly mention about this episode is the fact that it's eerily similar to Dawn, the episode where Rigby's younger brother visits the park. However, Dawn is actually a relatable character that everyone likes besides Rigby. It's even named after the character of the episode, just like Quips is. And on top of that, they even reference the Dawn episode in Quips by saying that Dawn was different from Quips because everyone loved him besides Rigby. Let me just say that if you're going out of your way to clarify that the two episodes in question are different from each other, then spoiler alert, they're not that different from each other. All jokes aside, you see what I did there? Yeah, just imagine if I did that for the entire review. It would get old really fast. Anyway, this episode has nothing going for it. It's riddled with cliches, lame jokes, and an extremely annoying character that is unlikable, unrelatable, and two-dimensional, which is the perfect recipe for disaster.
And that is why I will never be like Quips. Rant done. Let's get back to writing our comedy routine. Fuck! I've been working on this all day and I have nothing to show for it. Okay, maybe I can make one pun, but in a completely ironic and clever way. Okay, let me think. Maybe I can start my routine off by saying, hey, I'm Ryan Kelly, and I would show off my amazing jokes about unemployed people, but sadly none of them work. Hey, that's actually kind of funny. No, I can't use any puns. I simply won't stoop to Quips' level of laziness. I mean,
Quips is nothing but a horrible joke that everyone wants to go away, but still lingers on like that clingy ex-girlfriend that texts you every 2 hours asking where you were when you're hanging out with your friends on a Saturday night. So you can imagine that I, as well as many other regular show fans, were happy to realize that he was a one-off character and would never return. But that happiness quickly dwindled when the episode, Bachelor Party Zingo, came out, making me realize that Quips might become a recurring character. So the question is, did the writers learn from their mistakes and make Quips a more likable character? Kind of. While Quips is no longer making puns every 10 seconds, he still tries to make them, but gets interrupted every time he starts to set one up. Okay, so this actually works for the episode itself, but when looking at Quips' character in this episode, he is still trying to make puns to make people laugh and is still not liked by anyone besides Skips. This shows that he really didn't learn anything from the episode, Quips. The only reason why he isn't making puns as often is because the characters in the show found a way to stop him from doing so, not because he's trying to be considerate and lay off making them. So yes, Quips isn't an annoying asshat in this episode like he was in the last one. However, I will say whenever you take away all his puns, he doesn't really have any personality and is quite boring to watch. It's funny that one of the things that made Quips annoying is the only thing that gave him character and made him stand out. Man, don't you just love irony? Because I know I do! I think it's safe to say that Quips is irredeemable and will forever be a shitty character. I guess the writers thought this too because he only appeared in one other episode after this one as a brief cameo. Thank God. I'm glad that the writers came to the realization that Quips was not working as a character. I know they tried to bring him back in Bachelor Party Zingo, but I'm so glad that didn't work out because I really don't like Quips. I also think his design is a little bit weird too. I know that's such a minor and petty thing to talk about, but I feel like it had to be brought up just because I feel like regular show and the characters in that show, their designs are really unique, and I feel like Quips isn't really that unique. He's just a smaller Skips. So I'm really glad that he did not become a recurring character.
Damn it! I'm doing this on purpose! I won't get anything done if I keep talking about Quips. Okay, no more reviews for now on. I'm gonna focus on my comedy routine. Damn! I'm on fire now!
Take that, Quips! This is real comedy!
You know, if I keep this up, I'll be the next Seinfeld in no time. Okay, I think I'm finally ready to perform in front of an audience. Ready or not, here comes Ryan.
Are you gonna start or what?
Yes, I'm gonna go, but you can't rush perfection.
You've been staring at that shit for like 10 minutes.
Okay, since you're so insistent on me going now, I'll go.
Thank God. Ryan.
Hello. How are you doing? My name is Ryan Kelly, and I would totally show off some of my amazing jokes about unemployed people, but sadly, none of them work. Okay, all jokes aside, yesterday was awful. I was walking down the street when all of a sudden I was hit with a can of soda. Ow. Thank God it was just a soft drink. Okay.
So are you gonna tell like actual jokes or just make bad puns?
Oh my God. I'm Quips.
Who?
I've become the very type of comedian that I ridicule Quips for because...
Like Quips, I'm now relying on puns to be funny and not taking the time to come up with clever and sophisticated jokes. I was even oblivious to my jokes not being funny, just how Quips was oblivious that no one liked his jokes. Speaking of Quips' obliviousness, I honestly think that Quips was aware that no one liked his jokes the whole time and just didn't care. I say this because there are several times where Quips keeps escalating things by continuing to make jokes. The first example of this is when Quips first arrives at the park in the episode Quips. He's making a lot of puns that aren't making anyone laugh and are pissing people off. At one point in the episode he says, "What, did you say you want another one?" when no one said anything. Also later in the episode, Skips tells him not to piss off Reginald because he takes the game too seriously. So what does he do? Well, he proceeds to antagonize Reginald with jokes and insults until he snaps. Even before he does this, he makes some jokes about Reginald's drawings that are more so insults than actual jokes. This whole interaction is so uncomfortable to watch because it isn't funny, it doesn't make any sense, and it feels so forced. I feel like the only reason why this moment exists is so that the writers could include something supernatural to happen in it because, you know, Regular Show is anything but regular. This scene in particular is probably the worst part of the episode because it shows off everything wrong with Quips' character. It shows off the fact that he only cares about telling jokes and being funny instead of caring about the game they're playing. It shows off that he might not be as oblivious to what's going on as he claims he is. And it shows off that he isn't a funny character, but rather an annoying one. These are just some of the many reasons why I believe Quips is one of the most annoying characters in the show. I also dislike how horribly he's written in Quips, and whenever the writers fixed the issues Quips had previously, he became a hollow husk of his former self that I will say is much more tolerable to watch, even if he has no personality. Okay, so I've been hating quite a bit in this video. Let me just say that I don't hate Regular Show. I actually really love this show. It's one of my favorite 2010s cartoons that I still watch to this day, because of its clever and sophisticated writing. Quips is just a rare exception that makes Regular Show less enjoyable. Maybe if Quips' jokes were actually funny, but still annoyed the characters in the show, he would have been a good reoccurring character that the writers didn't try to hide under the rug. So that's why I can no longer be a comedian.
I don't even know what you're talking about, dude. Just change the comedy routine or something.
It doesn't matter anyway, because all my hopes and dreams are ruined!
The fuck just happened?
Hello there, my name is Ryan Kelly, and I make funnies on the YouTubes, except that my funnies aren't really funny right now, and fuck you.